what would you change?
What would I change?
What would you change?
A whole lot of things. If I had the power to change some things in life, one of the things I would change is the President of the United States. I think that he's a mockery. I would change even some things about church. Oftentimes, I watch carefully how church is no longer popular. It's not what people want to do, especially the millennials now. They don't want to do the church thing because there's so many things that happens in church. And as a pastor who really love people but hate traditional things that creates separation and making people feel that they're bigger or better than somebody else, if I could just get in there and change people from believing that church is only a certain way, led by certain people, I would do that, because I believe that would reignite the fire, especially for the millennials.
And I think I would agree with you. I think that there's a move though, right?
Yeah.
And I think you're a part of that move to see church done differently.
Right.
And I think that the challenge is that oftentimes those who have held and been the vanguard to the local church don't necessarily like the adjustments that have to be made. A church is the only place that you don't have to make any changes. You can. I've gone to churches that are still in the 60s,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
And in order to reach millennials, my son said to me one day, he's our youth pastor, and he said, "Hey, Dad, you guys believe until you see. We see to believe.
Yeah.
So you got to make some adjustments for us to be able to even want to be a part of ministry in today's kind of climate." So I agree with you.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I'm glad to hear that you said your son is a millennial who understand the heart of what they are looking for. And I believe if we were to really change the trajectory of church as we know it, we're going to have to start addressing some of those items that you just certainly shared.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Tell me a secret.
A secret?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a powerful question. I wish I would have got that one.
Yes.
I can't swim.
Ah.
And I was kicked out of the Marine Corps because I couldn't pass swim qual.
Wow.
And so I went through all of basic training in the United States Marine Corps. And at that time, it was 12 weeks.
Right.
And that 12th week, they pulled me to the side and said, "Hey, man, you can't pass swim qual. We can't pass you. But this is what we will do. If you will go all the way back in training, then we will give you the bypass to pass swim qual."
And you didn't want to do that?
No, man. Marine Corps training is unlike any training that anyone could ever be a part of. I mean, you gotta do push-ups and calisthenics for killing sand fleas. I did my time in Paris Island, South Carolina.
Oh, wow. Yes.
And so it was at the same time one of the most rewarding experiences.
Right.
Because it was at that place that I learned discipline and I learned character and a sense of responsibility. I got out of the Marine Corps, went right in the United States Army, and won Soldier of the Cycle based on my training in the Marine Corps.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I can't swim, and if you ever throw me in water,
That's good to know.
That's
That's good to know.
I'm
That's
not
good to
gonna
know.
make it.
But you know, it's really interesting. So you were raised here in Delaware.
I was raised here in Delaware.
That is so fascinating to me because I was raised in Philadelphia.
Okay.
And the only thing the poor kids could do is go to the neighborhood pool. And once you're thrown in 20 times, if you don't learn how to swim, then you're just crazy.
Yes.
And it really mesmerizes me to see that that so many Delawareans just don't know how to swim.
Let me tell you a funny story. Years ago, we had a camp. When I first started pastoring, we had a camp, a summer camp, and we went to the pool, right? And one of our young people, there were lifeguards and things of that nature, but one of our young people jumped into the deep end of the pool. Okay. And they were yelling for me, "Pastor, Pastor." They were going under, the 1, 2, 3 times. "Pastor," I'm on the edge, like, come on, because if I jump in, both of us gonna die. Ain't no need for both of us dying. So that's one of the funny stories that they were able to rescue the child
Without the pastor.
Without the pastor.
But you know, I'm gonna add to the secret.
Yes.
I'm afraid of mice.
Really?
And I'm gonna tell you a story, but you just erected the story that happened at our church. When we first moved into the location that we're in,
yes.
I had a administrative assistant who, when she walked in the room, the mouse was sitting right there. And she screamed. Now, I'm from North Philly, so when you scream, I'm coming to help you.
Yes, sir.
I'm running towards her office. As I get almost to the office, I'm saying, "What's wrong?" And she yells, "A mouse." I literally turned
around
and left her there with that mouse. Yeah. So I can feel you when you say that as a secret. I definitely can feel you on that one. Yeah. So I got you. I got you.
Here's a question. Almost to piggyback on that, what are you most afraid of?
Most afraid? Failure.
Wow.
Failure. I work hard, Donald. I work real hard because being poor, being brought up in the projects with a single parent, the biggest fear in my life is for me to fail.
Wow.
So I overcompensate preparation and whatever else, because that one thing, I'm afraid one day I'm gonna wake up and everything is lost.
Wow.
So that is my greatest fear.
You know what? I can agree with that. I've been called the consummate overachiever. And you know, what people thought and think about me, I had to really grow out of.
Yeah.
And so I would spend an inordinate amount of time attempting to create an image that at the end of the day, if you don't have the character to sustain it, doesn't really mean anything, right? And so the fear of failure kind of coincides with that. I really didn't and don't want to fail. We were laughing offset about preparation. I like to be prepared. I like to make sure I know what's going on, right? And so, the fear of failure, I would probably articulate the same thing in some ways.
Right, yeah. Sometimes it can be crippling, but it is a great emancipator.
Yes,
because
sir.
once you have, like you say, you over-prepare, you become the overachiever,
yes,
because
sir.
you're much more prepared than normal.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you to finish this question. How do you feel about?
How do I feel about? One of the things that I'm working on right now is the crisis that I think our country has with regard to manhood. We've developed this Remand project that hopes to again initiate the values and virtues of manhood. I'm troubled by the silence and almost the invisible nature of men today.
Oh wow!
Right, that we are no longer in homes like we should be.
Absolutely.
We are incarcerated at much higher numbers. We're undereducated, and I think a lot of what we are seeing in our society, particularly with regard to the family, has to do with the breakdown of the foundation, which I believe is men. And what I'm feeling right now that our society would be much better if, in fact, we would develop a process by which we reman our society. And the delicacy around that, though, is how do we build the one without doing damage to the other, right? I don't want to damage what our sisters have been able to accomplish. But at the same time, it's time for men to be in homes, to raise children, to do what we're supposed to do. And ironically, I see a lot of brothers stepping up to do that. We just don't give them a lot of play. We talk badly about a lot of brothers, but there are a lot of brothers doing a real good job at the family thing.
Yeah. You know, the Bible speaks of the devil being out to destroy that which pisses against the wall.
Absolutely right.
I've said this in our church often.
That really is in the Bible.
I mean, people don't believe that the Bible is very, you know, in the book of Genesis it talks about he's out to destroy. And one of the things that's the scripture I use even in our church to tell our brothers that we have an obligation to protect and preserve. While I am certainly a supporter of women's rights and things of that nature, I don't ever want to be disrespectful in that way. But the reality of it is the plot from before time was to make sure that the male is destroyed.
That is right.
And an African American male is really in danger.
Absolutely
and
right.
we really got to find a way to begin to start turning that wheel.
Absolutely
and I really,
right.
really appreciate that. But I want to throw something else at you before
Yes.
you come back at me.
Yes.
What about what do you think about Donald Trump?
So it's interesting that you would ask that. Let me tell you, as honest as I can be.
Okay.
I don't think anything about Donald Trump.
Okay.
I am far more interested, as it relates to political practice, I'm far more interested in what a platform says than I am what an individual says.
Okay.
I think that as African Americans, man, we have become intoxicated with symbolism.
True.
Right? So when, which I think was a great president. I think President Barack Obama was a great president, right? But I think we missed an opportunity because we expected him to do for the African American community that which we never presented, right? So we never went with a platform. We never said this is what we want. We were just happy to have an African American president. So the Bible, I'm a Christian first, right? And the Bible commands for me to pray for those that are in authority. And that is what I do for our president, because the scripture says that there came a time where God says, I'm gonna destroy everything, but if I can find one man to intercede, I won't do it. Absolutely. And the Bible says something painful, which I believe we're in right now, right? He said he couldn't find one person. And so I pray for the president, but I also am more interested in what a particular party is about more than I'm interested in what an individual says, because both you and I know at the end of the day, a lot of what they say they're going to do, they don't do.
But the interesting part is that a lot of what Donald Trump said he was going to do, he did it. And what bothers me is that I have not seen a level of moral decay that I'm seeing now. And the reason why I ask that question is because it's not that Donald, the president, it's the acceptance of so much that we've never seen before, defying even subpoenas that's going on right now, that to the point where, do you believe, and this is my real question, do you believe that if he was to lose this election, that he would go away quietly?
I think Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, has an enormous ego. So I don't know that he would go away quietly. I don't know that he should. I think that there's some hypocrisy in government. Right? And much of what we see from one side to the other, Chris, is displayed by the other at a different time. Right? So when Democrats are in power, I'm an independent. I don't have I'm not on one side or the other. It was Bill Winston who said, I don't come to take sides, I come to take over. Right? So I don't have any allegiance to the Republican Party nor the Democrats. But I will tell you that depending on who's in office, there is this insatiable need for each of them to attack the other, and no real business gets done. So that's my frustration with government and with politics. To use, I think I heard you first say this. I think this is your phrase, that politics is many
bloodsuckers.
But bloodsuckers. Right. So for me, I think that we've got to be about the business of doing good for the welfare of people, and I just don't see it. Not just in national politics, I don't see it in local politics either.
Well, I don't even want to start on the local, so I just wanted to keep that one general, because you're absolutely right. And while I am certainly a registered Democrat, the reality of it is I'm a Christian first.
Absolutely.
And there are things, and I have gone through clearly, and I've seen things that the Democrats believe in that is totally against what I believe, what I stand on, as well as Republicans. And at the end of the day, what we have to do is make sure that we maintain ourselves as Christians. And I think that's the big thing. The big thing, you know.
Name 3 things that you love about yourself.
3 things I love about myself.
Are you going to take some time and just kind of
I ain't got to
think about it?
If you told me to name 3 things that I don't like about myself, it may take me a couple of days. But one thing for sure, I am confident in that I'm the president, CEO, and chairman of the board for the Chris Curry fan club.
Yes,
so
sir.
it don't take long for me to tell you the things that I love. But honestly, on a serious note, listen, I love the fact that I fear nobody. Therefore, I don't have to lie to anybody. I don't fear. Fear is not a part of my trend.
Your makeup.
People's opinion does not sway me. And it has caused me to be, in my opinion, successful as a pastor.
Because fear is not a part of the factor.
Fear is not a part of the factor. I'm not aware, if you walk away from me, Donald, as much as I love you, if you walk away from me, then that chapter of my life is now over.
Wow.
And that's where I am in my life.
Wow.
Not that I don't need you.
Yes, sir.
But if God wanted you in my life,
yes, sir,
for the next chapter,
yes, sir,
then you would be there.
Yes, sir.
And that's really where I am for that first one, which is fear. The second one is determination. I think I'm one of those people who get the job done. If I start it, I finish it. Mm-hmm. And as you may be aware of us building this 28,000 square foot Whole Life Center over in South Bridge.
Yes.
That project was supposed to be 2 years. It ended up being 7 years.
Wow.
Many delays, but I've learned something. Delay does not mean denied.
Yes, sir.
And I thank God for that. And the third thing is that I'm rooted as a family person. I mean, I am very much in love with my wife and daughter.
Yes, sir.
My 2 girls are my girls. We even got a puppy now. And it's a girl, so I'm outnumbered
really?
totally. But I even got a puppy now.
What kind?
I got a Morkie. Is that what I think it's called? A Morkie.
Okay.
I don't
Yorkie?
know. No, it's mixed. It got Yorkie and it got something else.
Okay.
It's a mutt. But my wife wouldn't like that if she's looking at this right now. Because
designer dog.
That's what she said.
Yes, it's a designer
It's a
dog.
mutt. That's what
Yes, sir.
But I'm a family person, and I love families. I love to see families together and come together. So those are the 3 things that I really do think I love about myself. And I hope they weren't too bad, but that's what I do.
No, I have to admit to you that when you first got here,
mm-hmm.
right, one of the things that I've had some private conversations
mm-hmm.
about you
right.
was that number 1 thing,
yeah.
and that is that you don't fear anybody.
Yeah.
And
which is, some people take it as arrogance.
And it really isn't.
Yeah.
I was told, I've been told for many years, Donald, you are arrogant somebody.
Yeah.
And it's probably because of who my mom is. My mom is very humble.
Yes.
Woman, and I tried that. My mom.
Your mom is strategic. Yes. You ain't gonna run over her.
Yes, that is true.
Our generation, we say what we feel.
That is true.
She sometimes
She's very strategic.
Right.
That's
okay.
very, very true.
But I'm sorry,
and so, I used to try that behavior.
Yeah.
And my mom will walk in a room and she'll bow, baby. I tried that one. That's not me.
Yeah.
I had to learn to be Donald.
Yes.
Right. And
yes.
a part of my makeup. Mm-hmm. Probably as a Leo.
Mm-hmm.
We're Leo.
We have that in common.
We have that in common.
Yeah.
You're older than I am, though, right?
I don't think so.
I think so.
But I could be, but I look better.
Huh?
But I look better. I didn't misunderstand on that one. A little bit heavier,
Right. You see these guns?
I don't see them guns. I don't see no guns.
So one of the things
I
that
see a tight shirt.
I grew into it.
Oh, you grew into it?
So listen. So one of the things that I talked about you in private, that I celebrate you now in public, is the fact that you are a man that is fearless. It doesn't matter whether it's church. It doesn't matter whether it's politics.
Appreciate that.
You're really, really consistent, and what you believe in is what you're going to do. And I think in today's climate, you have to have that.
Yeah.
You have to have that fearlessness and confidence in an effort to get anything done.
One of the things that we celebrate each other in that, I think that the fear factor has not been a factor. Because people are going to do what they want to do.
Absolutely.
They're going to tell you how they think it should happen.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, you have to make sure you run with what you know God has called you to do and what you have to do.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
I was wondering, what would you consider to be your purpose now?
Wow, man. And that I can give you all day.
Okay.
So
I don't have all day though.
You don't have? You got 15 minutes?
I'll give you a minute.
Give me a minute. So my purpose in life is to reman society.
I like that.
I'm simply committed to building men.
Yeah.
And our church, Chris, is 51% men.
Now you're doing better than 99% of the
Right.
pastors, especially here in Delaware.
Right.
Because you know we be looking for the men.
Yes, sir.
You know.
And I've learned Psalm 128. I've learned is the mandate for men in the way that Proverbs 31 is for women.
Okay.
Right. And so we've never had a criteria. We've never had a standard. Right. So now that I have found a standard for men, men have been able to rise to the challenge. I've got countless testimonies from wives who have seen significant turnaround with their husbands.
Yeah.
Fathers that are now reintroduced to families.
Wow.
And so I will spend, without any question, I will spend the rest of my life remanning society.
Well, I think that is a purpose that is well needed.
Yes, sir.
And you will be blessed, and your church will be blessed.
Yes, sir.
With the fact that you are committing yourself to the men, because everyone knows that when the head is right.
That is right.
When the head is strong,
that is
the
right.
body functions.
That is right.
And when the head is weak,
that is right.
the body is dysfunctional.
That is
so
right.
I commend you on that, because at the end of the day, you know, many of us who are pastors, we probably need to refocus.
Yes, sir.
To start putting a little more emphasis on the male, because again, and I still dance. I don't know, you too cool to dance. I mean, shout. I mean, not back it up to the front and back. Well, sometimes I do that too. Depends on where I'm at.
I've seen some videos.
Oh, okay. but in church, I still shout sometimes, and I'll have people say to me, you know, I'm not used to seeing brothers do that without, you know, being that you're a part of another community. And I'm quick to say, look, God has been good to me, but it's about that male presence where it gives them the assurance that, you know what, this is cool, this is good. And I love the role model piece, and that's what I was going to come back with you on, how you really are trying to build men and showing men that once you become a man, you then have other men who will, you know, emulate who you are, and that's how our community changes.
Absolutely. I have, as everybody knows, have had significant challenges and moral challenges, right? That I tell people about.
But who doesn't? See, and I often spend time, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but I often spend time telling people you have to be careful when you look at a person's shortcomings, because the truth of the matter is all of us have them.
All of us have them.
Now, and the power of us having them is that look at where grace lands you.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's what reman is about.
Yes.
If you look at Psalm 128, at the very end of it, it says this: peace be to Israel.
Okay.
And one of the things that God said to me is, Israel is not a place, it's a person.
Yes.
Whose first name was Jacob. So God is in the business of changing Jacob, trickster, right, to Israel, prince. And I've seen him do it with men all the time. He did it with my life. Remember the hair club for men? That commercial? And that guy would always come on and he would say, I'm not just the president, I'm a client. And that's the same thing for me. I'm not just the remand president or founder, I'm a client. I'm someone who has had to go through the remanding process.
And the mere fact that you can articulate that says that there is reciprocity.
Yes, sir.
And there's liberty in you being able to be redeemed from wherever you were.
Yes, sir.
But the truth of the matter is this, all of us.
Yes, sir.
My issue may not have been your issue.
Yes, sir.
But I got an issue too.
Yes,
and
sir.
because we all have issues and problems, there's no such thing as nobody cannot be redeemed. If there's breath, you can be redeemed.
And if in fact there is no redemption, let's throw Christianity away.
We have to.
We have to.
We have to.
Yes,
absolutely.
Sir.
So that's pretty good, my brother, and I'm very good to hear that.
What is your 10-year plan?
10-year plan.
You're a man of preparation.
Yes. You know what? And it's interesting because we are doing some great things. That I'm going to give you, I believe in 10 years I'm going to probably retire.
Okay.
Because I promised, you know, myself that at a certain age I wanted to retire. My whole goal was to be a college president. I ended up being a pastor, and I love it. And I love what I do.
Yes, sir.
But I didn't want to work till I was old. I wanted to be able to enjoy family. I had my daughter, as you're well aware, at a later age.
Yes, sir.
She's 8 years old. In 10 years, she'll be 18. She's going to go away to college, and guess who's going to go away to college too? Amen. So I will probably be retiring, but between now and then, we have two major projects that I'm trying to get done over there in South Bridge. One is that we get ready to break ground on this senior living facility, where it's going to be a shared community. They'll have their own private room and bath. It's going to be like a suite. Each of them will have 20 units in there.
Yes, sir.
They're going to share a kitchen, and we're going to bring in a chef to be able to be a part of that process, because we had one of our members to die of a broken heart. We could not help her. Our family did not do the things that they needed to do, and we're going to even name the building after her, to be very honest with you. And the second thing is that we're going to be the first black church, especially on the East Coast, to own a Chick-fil-A. And we're in the process of moving.
Yes. So you guys will own, and it's funny because I guess a part of the franchise with Chick-fil-A is you can't do it on Sunday.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But you'll be able to do for the rest of the week a Chick-fil-A.
And we are working on it, and we're going to work on it. I believe that, and I hope we'll be able to do those two things. And then I would like to go off the scene and let some other person come in and do what God has called them to do.
Are you identifying that person now?
We are in the process of that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We will always make sure the things that God has blessed the Zion Fair with, I do not want it just to be thrown into the hands of someone who don't know what they're doing.
Yes, sir.
They need to be a part of the ministry and continue to grow.
Yes, sir.
I just believe that.
That's amazing. I mean, the whole issue of legacy is one of the things that Psalm 128 talks about. Right? And for men being able to provide a moral stability and compass. Because when the Bible says that a good man will leave an inheritance, it's not talking about money. It's talking about a moral compass. And I've been talking with my sons about having a good name.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And a name can get you stuff that money could never purchase.
Amen. I told a young man, and I hope he's watching today, but I told a young man at our church, I said, listen, your credit speaks to your walk with God.
That is right.
So you must have a good name.
That is
if you don't have anything else, have a good name.
That is right.
Amen.
And I want every brother to be able to restore.
To
be able to restore.
That's right. Because mistakes can be rebound. You can rebound from them. Who inspires Donald?
For real? You do. You're one of the people that
you still think I'm older than you. Is that what you?
Yeah, I look up to you in that way.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm taller than you, so you should look up to me.
You're not taller than me.
So you should look up to me.
No, sir. We can check that out. No, sir, you're not taller than me. But your tenacity.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Your character, your straightforwardness are things that have always been a part of my life. But I've had to kind of shun because I was concerned when people would say, Donald, you arrogant. And so it kind of caused me to kind of shy away from that and try to develop another persona. But you've always been Chris Curry.
Amen.
You've always been Chris Curry. My pastor is Mike Freeman, and he's in Temple Hills, Maryland. He inspires me. He came back from his deathbed. And has always been a family man. And then you know what? My children inspire me. Because they have always kept it real with me. Mistake, celebrate me when I do well, celebrate me when I don't do well, and say, hey, Dad, let's get it together, right? So they inspire me to want to be a better Donald. And I think at the end of the day, whoever inspires you must inspire you to be someone better than you are right now. So those are the people that inspire me.
Outstanding.
Who inspires you?
Donald,
I know I do. I'm so
you do.
grateful.
You know why?
Yes, sir.
You inspire me because I feel that you have really rebound from some tremendous storms. You know,
yes, sir.
We can always talk about what a person did.
Yes.
But a lot of times the people stay where they are.
Yes.
But to see a person pick themselves up and move on.
Yes, sir.
Life is not about falling. It's about whether or not you have the ability to get up.
Yes, sir.
And today, when just talking about the men and remanning, that's a motivational piece of me. You're gonna be like, yo, Curry got that from me.
Yes,
Curry,
sir.
because in actuality, that touched me just today.
Wow.
Just today.
Wow.
And I think there's some ownership that we must start taking as it relates to making sure we start doing our job to
Yes, sir.
remanning these brothers.
Yes, sir.
We can't criticize.
Yes, sir.
What we really have to do is
Yes,
start
sir.
helping them to become better
Yes,
people.
sir.
So I really do believe that. And the second person that really inspires me, and this is gonna blow your mind,
Yes.
but it's my 8-year-old daughter.
Wow.
She inspires me. She is a 4.0 student. She loves the Lord. Sometimes we're on our 5 o'clock in the morning prayer call. She'll pray with the saints.
Wow.
She is really
At 8.
At 8.
Wow.
At 8. And let me tell you something. Daddy's going out of town today. She told me, she said, I want to go with you. She always picked me over Mom. And I just love that little girl. And God gave me, I wanted a son at first.
Okay.
But I needed a daughter
Yes.
so that I could become a better person.
Wow.
And she just makes my life,
Wow.
to be very honest with you.
Wow.
So thanks for asking that question.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that I want to share with you is it is those kinds of statements that people have shared with me, you know, when they say, Donald, you know, you have picked yourself up. Mm-hmm. And a part of my commitment mm-hmm. is to never again violate your trust that you put in me a second time.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So for me, my life will remain erect mm-hmm. simply because there are people that gave me another shot after those kinds of failures that didn't have to. Mm-hmm. And because of that, I'll never ever morally, not like that. Now all of us make mistakes, right? But that kind of failure, never again, as a testament to those like you who have said, Donald, I appreciate you getting back up again.
Yeah, and again, you know why I could say something like that? Is because I was there.
Yes, sir.
And somebody gave me another chance.
Sir.
And that's why I'm critical of people who don't understand what redemption is all about.
Yes, sir.
We call ourselves Christians. I often say we are professing Christians but practicing atheists.
Yes, sir.
Because the same God who took us out of the stuff that no one knows about.
That is right. That is right.
I remember one time I was up at the prisons and I was sharing with the brethren who were there. I said, listen, the difference between you and me is you got caught.
Absolutely.
And I got to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
I know I'm pastor of Wilmington's most exciting church, and they know me. They know I am not fake like that.
Right.
There's stuff I should have gone to jail for.
Right.
We ain't gonna bring them up.
Right.
Right, man. Because somebody may want to go back. but the grace of God covered me.
Yes.
And my job is to make sure I'm able to cover somebody else.
Yes, sir.
If God can forgive you, then I have to be the one to do it as well.
Yes, sir.
So I appreciate you for that.
Yes, sir.
Really do.
You know, there's a book called Christian Atheists. And it outlines that very thing.
Okay.
That we confess Christianity, but we practice something very, very different.
Yes. Yeah. And a question I was going to really ask also is, who or what do you believe created us?
Who or what do I believe created us? God himself created us. And anyone that doesn't believe that, anyone that doesn't believe that there's a divine design with all of this, it takes more, Chris, not to believe than it does to believe.
To believe, that's right.
Right? So I believe that God created all of this, all of us, and with a particular purpose and assignment that he has given each and every one of us. And I think we all spend our lives attempting as quickly as possible to determine what that is. Why am I here? And even those that don't profess Christianity or those that are agnostics or atheists or what have you, still search.
Right.
They won't tell you that they're searching. They don't even know what they're searching for. But that's what they're searching for, this creator of the universe. And all of us are created with a God-sized gap in us that can only be filled by him. Gotcha. And so I believe God created it all.
And I certainly support you.
Yes, sir.
I do believe it. I preach it every day.
Yes, sir.
Every aspect of my life. If I did not believe that God created everything, and he is the supreme ruler of the and I want to even go a little bit further, because when you look at the John text that talks about he became flesh and dwelt among us, I want to bring it a little bit closer, if I can, for the sake of our conversation this morning, that we often don't speak of Jesus.
Right.
We know God the Father created.
Because that's safe.
Absolutely.
Right.
But as a brother to a brother,
yes, sir.
I just want to make sure the Jesus factor is a part of this whole conversation.
Yes, sir.
Because without him,
yes, sir,
we would not be here today.
Yes, sir.
He was the redemption for us.
Absolutely.
So not only do I believe that God the Father created God the Son.
Yes.
He sustained, he brought us here, and it was the Holy Spirit that keeps us. So I just wanted to add that. I know that that's where you are.
Absolutely.
But I just want to make sure I say that, because there are people who say, I believe in God.
Right.
But God is Catholic. That's universal.
Right.
We're looking for you to qualify that for me.
Absolutely.
So that we'll be able to understand where you are, because everyone, because even atheists believe in a God, but not the God that we certainly believe in.
Correct. And that's important too, even when we talk about men, because one of the things that I got tired of, and I say this openly, is that every black brother found God in Islam, right? And that Jesus was never considered. The church was never considered as a space that was welcoming to men.
Okay.
Right? And so we've got to reimagine Jesus too, because Jesus ain't soft.
Absolutely.
He's not soft.
Absolutely.
But that's the way that we've characterized him for so long. And it is a part of the reason why brothers don't even consider Jesus or Christianity, because the race issue, but also the gender issue.
Gotcha.
So this is the last question that I have for you. It's a great question. 3 things that you've learned throughout the course of your life, 3 things that have helped to shape who you are, your ideologies. What are those 3 things that you've learned?
The first thing I learned, I believe, is integrity matters.
Yes, sir.
The things that I've accomplished in my life, I was raised very poor, but the things that I've accomplished in my life, I had older people who were not educated, well educated, kept saying to me, Chris, what you say you must do. Who you say you are, you must be that person. And if you're not that person, don't try to be that person, because you'll spend your life trying to do something that you just can never do. Your integrity matters. And I just believe that with all my heart. And which keeps me from trying to please people.
Yes, sir.
I am who I am by the grace of God.
Yes, sir.
Another thing I learned is people should be loved and not used.
Wow.
Oftentimes, especially in the work we do, Pastor.
Yes, sir.
Everybody love their pastor.
Yes, sir.
Everybody love it. I mean,
yes,
you wouldn't be at that church.
Yes, sir.
We know the musicians think they got it all. No, it's because of the pastor.
Yes, sir.
I've learned, as much as people love me at East Zion Fair, if I was to use them, I would kill them. It would crush them.
Wow.
I've learned to love them. Even when there's friction, it is the love that I've given that pulls us back together.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And the last thing I think I've learned is that you got to be physically fit, mentally alert, and spiritually alive. I study crazy. I read. My mind is important.
Yes, sir.
I go to the gym twice a week. I swim, thing that you don't know how to do. Because I want to make sure I'm healthy. I know I'm overweight, but I'm not obese.
Right.
All right?
Right.
And you got to be alert of what's going on in your community and making sure you're protecting. So I just believe in the totality of the being.
That's so good.
And those are the 3 things I've learned in life.
So good.
And it has helped me. It has helped me to be whatever I am. I'm not claiming to be successful. I'm not claiming to be somebody big or important. But wherever I am in life is because of those 3 things.
Yes, sir.
And I do know God is real. So that is the number 1. All right?
Yes, God is real.
Tell me about yourself.
3 things that I've learned is family is primary.
Yes. Yes.
The second thing that I learned, Chris, family is primary.
Okay.
The third thing I learned, family is primary. There's nothing more important to me than Tiffany Lynn. There's nothing more important to me than our 6 children. We got a blended family. We the Brady Bunch. And I love Transform Church, but they are very, very clear that my priority is my family, because when all else goes away, all you got left is your family.
Amen.
And so I've mismanaged that in times past. My priorities, I'm very, very driven. I'm a driven guy. I'm a workaholic.
Okay.
And so I've mismanaged family in times past. But my family is the most important, other than the Lord Jesus Christ.
Amen.
My family is most important.
Well, Brother Donald, let me just say to you that today has been a blessing for me.
It's been my
because
pleasure.
while I've known you,
Yes, sir.
there is some enlightenment that has occurred.
Yes, sir.
And sometimes it's important that we take off the collar.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes it's important that we stop trying to be the ecclesiastical person.
Yes, sir.
And just be people.
Yes, sir.
We hurt like other people
Absolutely.
hurt. We have problems like other people have.
Absolutely.
But the truth of the matter is we're common in that we're all redeemed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Brother Donald, thank you so much for being with me today.
I love you, man.
Bless you.